Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to this conversation on MulteFire. This is Monica Paolini from Senza Fili, and today I'm talking to Kristen Wagner at M3 Connect. He is VP of the Business Unit Enterprise. And today we're talking about MulteFire in the enterprise. MulteFire is a new technology that allows the enterprise to use unlicensed spectrum and the LTE interface. And have private networks. And Kristen, it's great to have us talk to us today.
Hello, Monica. I'm Christian Wagner from M3 Connect. M3 Connect is one leading provider of Wi-Fi networks. So we are very active in the healthcare, in the hospitality, in the retail market. And we are also active with Wi-Fi in the enterprise market. And that in the enterprise market, we recognize that we need a more reliable technology than Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi has its weakness on some points when it goes on quality, when it goes on mobility, when you talk about quality of services, latency, then we need another technology. And one of the technology we can meet the requirements is MulteFire. And therefore we are working now on different MulteFire projects, on different use cases, and see there is a big future in this new technology.
Now, this is very interesting because oftentimes when we talk about MulteFire, the issue of Wi-Fi comes up right away, and there is sometimes a sense that the two technologies are competing. If we have Wi-Fi, why do we need MulteFire? What are the advantages of that? So where is it you're coming from, since you're already using Wi-Fi?
I personally think that we are not talking about Wi-Fi or MulteFire. So every technology has its right to stay there, because I see Wi-Fi, when you talk about Wi-Fi, it's really for the mass market. It's you have Wi-Fi is nearly everywhere. It's built in everywhere, in every tablet, in every handset, in every computer. So it's something which is already there, and you can also use for having your tablets in the industry hall, making surveillance on your processes, emailing, messaging, all this stuff. Therefore, you need Wi-Fi. But in addition, you have some use cases, you have some automation processes, logistic processes, where you really need more quality. And so you need an LTE technology in addition. And that's the reason why it is very interesting to have MulteFire and Wi-Fi as a coexistence in the industry.
So typically in an enterprise, you already have Wi-Fi. And it's not, as I say, they're going to coexist with MulteFire. So what kind of functions at a high level, and then we can dig down into more specific cases, what kind of applications will be used, the enterprise will use Wi-Fi for, and which ones will be for MulteFire?
Yeah, as I said, Wi-Fi is for sure for the common processes and for the common use cases. When you need mobility, your personal mobility, you have some information on your tablet, you move around in the industry hall and in the production line, and want to have some overview about the goods, the processes, some sensors. But you need MulteFire or better quality of network when you have some other use cases. For example, one example is the AGVs, the autonomous ground vehicles, so the manless forklifts. They are moving around in the industry hall and from one hall maybe to another hall, and therefore they need mobility. So when they're coming from one node B, from one access point area to the other access point cell, they need a constant a connection and do not need an interruption. And this is something which can be done by MulteFire, by LTE protocols, because you have here handover system. The other thing is latency. You need that latency because you have a security protocol at the AGVs, which needs a constant connections there. Or you have some HD cameras connected on the AGV. where you see exactly what are you doing in closer than nearly real time. So therefore, MulteFire is perfect technology for that.
Yeah, and I guess if it's something that is mobile, then clearly you cannot not use wireline as well. Because for some IoT applications in the enterprise, you don't need wireless. But in a case where you have a moving elements like a forklift, you do need mobility and reliability as well. Because clearly you have that's. If you lose control, there is a major problem. You cannot just stop. So so latency is an issue, reliability is an issue. What else? What else is a critical factor for MulteFire?
Yeah, mobility for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is the predictable from the network. Yeah, in Wi-Fi you always have the problem. You never know. You never know how many handsets are there, how many interferences do you have, and you do not have in Wi-Fi. You do not have really mechanism to defend and to have a quality of service. This is something which now in the specification of MulteFire. MulteFire is looking about quality of service. MulteFire is looking about the coexistence. He's looking about which frequency spectrum do I have available and how can I manage the quality of services. So these are the components that are very important for us and why we need MulteFire.
Now, in this case, it's also the MulteFire is also used as a private network. So the enterprise would have control over the network and they don't depend on the mobile operator. How important is that, do you think, for the enterprise?
For the enterprise, it's very important to have their own network. For sure, the technology is now existing on LTE, on the mobile network operator networks. The mobile network operator in large industries, they have their own infrastructure like DAS systems. But at the end, we are talking about very sensitive data. We are talking about very sensitive communication where the industry do not want to have the communication outside of their premises, of their network. At the mobile network operator, when you are connected to the mobile network operator, it always goes to the network operator and back and forth. So this is something they want to avoid. They want to have their real own ecosystem. They want to have their own data and want to manage their data. So they need private LTE MulteFire technologies. On the other side, then you are talking about frequencies. So normal LTE frequencies today are not available for the industry. They're only available for the mobile network operators. They bought these and they had the permissions. But in Germany, for example, there are coming up now new frequency spectrums which are dedicated for the industry. This is 3.7 to 3.8 gigahertz. But if they can use them, it takes a while. They are dedicated for 5G and it will take a while until they can use it. MulteFire hopefully is a little bit quicker, and then they can use really the free unlicensed spectrum of Wi-Fi. So that will help the industry a lot.
Absolutely. But what about then using LAA, for instance? Because in that case, you can still use LTE in a licensed band, but I guess that in that case, the issue is that the operator would control. So you can use LTE in unlicensed, but then it would not be a private network.
Right, and that's exactly the case. Then you're talking about also a mobile network operated network. So the control plane is going over the mobile network operator. The user plane, it's half. It's not purely on the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So that's not a solution for them.
Absolutely. So we talked about the mobility, automation. I guess it goes along with it. So MulteFire is going to enable enterprise to become more easily automated, right? How important it is for the enterprise to be automated?
It's a kind of competition, and they have to stay at very competitive against other industries. And if they are more automating, if they streamline the logistic processes, if they can do some things faster and without putting more resources on it, then it's very critical. It's business critical for the enterprises that they have a reliable network and they can do all these use cases which are up and running. So an HEV and manless forklift is something which is already existing, but the hindering point is the communication, to make it secure, to make it really proven for the daily logistic and production processes.
Now, if we sort of move a little bit aside from manufacturing and the automation in the industry, another area that has shown a lot of interest is hospitality. Are you doing anything in that area?
Yeah, we are very big in the hospitality industry because we are serving all this Wi-Fi infrastructure in the hotels, in the healthcare, in the hospitals. And what we experience here is that they have good Wi-Fi, they want to invest in Wi-Fi, that's good for them because it's business critical if you do not have a Wi-Fi, but it's also business critical if they do not have cellular coverage on it. If the phone is not connected to the normal network, then they have really a bad reputation in TripAdvisor and stuff like this, and the customers are going anywhere else. But the problem is the big mobile network operator are not willing to serve every single hotel to have cellular coverage in there, and the mobile in the hotellery expects multi-operator coverage. So it does not help if you have only T-Mobile or only Verizon or only Vodafone network. You need every network which is available in the country that you can satisfy your guests. So therefore, I think it will be a good tool to serve this or to help out with this problem. But there are some prerequisites. The prerequisites is that we need a very quick implementation of MulteFire in the handsets. So in an Apple iPhone, in a Samsung, in an LG, they need to have this MulteFire implemented. If this is implemented, and if nearly 60 to 80% of the handsets have these MulteFire implemented, then we can build up networks. Then we can build up private LTE MulteFire networks with their own spectrum, because it's a free spectrum on 5 gigahertz. So every hotel can invest, can serve an own network. And then you need a roaming interface to the other network operators. If this is the case, I think MulteFire technology will help the hospitality, will help the healthcare and industry to serve cellular coverage.
Absolutely. So this is a different situation, because in the manufacturing world, private and being separate from a network operator, it's an advantage. Here it's the other way around. So the hospitality enterprise is going to create their own network, invest in it, because they need it. It's a sort of not an amenity; it's a necessity for their guests. But then they want to talk to the operators and have relationships with them. How do you see that working? Because not every single hotel can go and talk to all the operators. What type of infrastructure can you have in place to facilitate that?
We need a common roaming interface. So as the other operators have their roaming interface to the others with on a centralized point, it's the same case. So you need first of all, you need the permission of every mobile network operator to establish a roaming interface. And you do not need I think every single hotel do not need to negotiate a roaming agreement with every operator. I think this can be done centralized. This can be done centralized from different companies who are dealing now with roaming agreements. Or this can be also centralized by political or an authority initiative that they say, okay, you have to have a roaming interface for exactly these use cases, for the hospitality, for every other.
Absolutely. No, yeah. So there has to be some infrastructure platform or some wholesaler or intermediary. Okay, great. So you mentioned also the healthcare vertical. What is the appeal of MulteFire there?
Oh, there are different use cases. So for one thing is for sure the substitution of the normal cellular coverage. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is also you have a lot of measurement instruments. You need some like in the industry, yeah? You need some connections which is business critical, which is critical to the processes, to the operations. Measurement systems, you have to say, where is my measurement system, where connected. Maybe you think about different use cases where you need high definition internet, mobile internet, and this is something where you can use MulteFire technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another case another vertical that might be interested in is the construction sites, because that's a place where you do need connectivity. You'd want to have it sort of a private network. You want to have your own network because you need to have it wherever you need it when you need it. Is that another place where MulteFire is going to be used, do you think?
Yes, it is. It is a place for MulteFire. It is a place for the private LTE networks. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about a big construction, large construction site, you normally have your construction site up and running 1 year, 2 year, and you need communication, constant communication. And most of the time, there is no existing cellular coverage in there because it will set up now. And so you need something in between. This is something, so temporary LTE networks, temporary MulteFire networks will be very useful to help them to control, to communicate, to have the lorries and the construction machines equipped with MulteFire to really connect and their machines. Yeah, so this is very important for them, and this is something we also hear from the large construction building companies, that they need this and they want to have something else than Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is too small for them. It's too there are too small cells, and this is the problem they have. Yeah. It's too costly for them.
And there it's a situation where you do have a lot of mobility inherently in there, because you don't even have a buildings, right? So, okay, so let's talk about timing. And you mentioned you're very active on MulteFire, but what do you see in terms of timing before we get to commercial deployments?
It's a good question, because timing depends on a lot on the big manufacturer, on the big OEMs. When do they support MulteFire? When do they have the user equipment available? So this is the most hindering point is now. So the use cases are already there. Everyone waits for this and wants to start for this. And the hindering point is this. What are we doing is we are doing some trials. We are doing some trials with, to be honest, not with MulteFire on 5G, because lack of availability of remote units, lack of availability of CPEs, but on other technology like the private LTE, which is coming out in Germany on the 3.7. Here we are doing trials. Here we are talking to the industry, and they are waiting for that. So it's really time critical for them, that they want to automate. Technology is there, but we need the handsets, we need the remote units, we need the technology available for the serial production.
Yeah. So actually, you mentioned 5G. Right now, MulteFire is based on LTE, because that's what that's when it's available. But moving forward, do you see MulteFire transitioning to 5G? And if so, how is that going to happen?
It has to have a transition to 5G, because in 5G you can do much more use cases, and you have much more benefits on latency. You have much more benefits on slicing for dedicated use cases. Even in the industry area, you have to have different use cases. You have to have different networks. One network can be the public network, where they can have a phone call on their own handset, but on the other hand, you need the time-critical communication, as I said, with the AGVs or other devices, or drones, or augmented reality, and all this stuff. So you need 5G, a transition from MulteFire, which is now based on LTE, to 5G. But important is that we have this technology on unlicensed spectrum or on shared spectrum. And this is something which is very important. So it's important that we have a roadmap from LTE to 5G. But if you look at the roadmap of MulteFire, it's already there. So the roadmap is clear. It's a matter of time when this is becoming reality.
Absolutely. So LTE today, and then eventually move forward to a 5G whenever the enterprise or the equipment is ready.
Right, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kristen. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thanks a lot, Monica, and have a good week. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.